Oh, we've got a message from our very own Betty Cotton Birtles. How lovely. She would love to hear your best thoughts on how to go about marketing their little Steiner school, please.
Uh, okay. So a couple beautiful things here. So Betty used to be the one running the Facebook group. So she was the one sitting where Fred was sitting and interviewing me. And now here she is on the other side of it. And second, I went to a Steiner school. I went to a Waldorf school, kindergarten through grade six. So, right, what would I do if I was going to be marketing a Steiner school? Well, there's a number of things. There's three roles of marketing. Number one, you get people's attention. Number two, you filter. Number three, you lower the risk. So in terms of getting people's attention, it would come down to hubs. It's really worth sitting down with your community. You say, okay, the kind of people who would be into a Steiner school, where do they hang out? What are they already connected to? What are the scenes? What are the kind of hub categories we're looking at? So it might be, oh, well, nature connection people, maybe some of the vegetarian vegan crowd, maybe some of the regenerative agriculture and permaculture crowd, maybe people who are into, yeah, ascended masters and all this. And there's all sorts of places you could find them. So that's the first thing is you just make a list of the specific groups and people and hubs and the generic categories of them. And then you make a spreadsheet of what are all the specific iterations of this. You might say, well, people go to yoga studios might be interested. Great. Okay. So let's make a list of all the yoga studios. Maybe you say, well, people who've hired a midwife or a doula, they're probably going to be holistically minded. So you might make a list then of all the midwives and doulas in your area. And so first of all, you just get the list. We've got all the hubs. Second is you prioritize those hubs to go through them and you kind of vote together which of these are most likely to have our perfect fit ideal clients. They're all probably going to reach people who are somewhere in the ballpark, but you want the bullseye. And then there's a number of ways you can do this. One, I mean, you can just do some individual outreach if it's significant. But I would really consider hosting events and parties. That's the way I'd probably do it. Once a month, you host a bonfire or something, and you get people together. It's a kind of a gathering, but you invite all these hubs, and it's a chance where you get up and talk for 10 minutes. Here's what Steiner education is. Here's what's happening in our school. If you know any parents with kids in these grades, we'd really love it if you could spread the word. It's a way to connect with people. You could also just send direct messages. You could, there's probably associations you could get in, let's say there's an association of midwives and doulas, you could get in their newsletter, spread the word to them. You could just, I'm big for local things. I'm big on the gatherings and getting people together because they often come for other reasons. It's not just because you're school. It's, oh, there's going to be cool people here. And I can catch up with that person. And you have a chance to then meet them in person. They have a chance to ask you questions. They get a sense of your vibe. You get a chance to give your pitch, your shameless plug for your school. I would ask the parents too. I would just ask everybody, where do we find more people like these parents? And I would, really particularly think about who are our best parents and do they know anyone else? And where would you find them? So yeah, that's it in terms of getting people's attention. In terms of filtering, then it's probably good that they're, I think most Steiner schools probably have orientation evenings where people can come much more in depth, and get questions answered. So I could imagine, if there was monthly social events that are bigger gatherings, and those could be potlucks. It could be we're having a picnic in the park, bringing a picnic basket. You don't have to spend almost any money on this. It could be we're going on a walk, a little bit of a hike, or we're going bowling together. I don't know. You could just pick something, but something that would allow you to have space to talk about what you do. But then there might be an orientation where it's come for an hour. We'll tell you more. You can ask questions. And they can filter to see if it's a fit, and you can also maybe get a sense of if they're a fit. And then lowering the risk, I don't know what can be done for a school like that, but I mean, having them if parents want to come and just sit in on a class and see what it's like, that probably helps a lot. A chance to talk with other parents, probably very helpful. But part of how you can lower the risk is make sure some of the parents come to these social events, come to the orientation so they can talk to them, and some of the teachers are there and they can ask questions. But it's hubs, hubs, hubs. I just, where else? And for everyone listening, the translation is okay, people who might be interested in the work I do, where do they hang out? What else are they into? And then you build relationships with those people and places, and you'll be right about good hubs 25% of the time, and or 75% of the time, you'll be wrong 25% of the time. That's just how it is. So that's what I would say then.
And wonderful as an aside, if anybody watching this wants to brainstorm some hubs, please by all means put a little note into the post in the Facebook group, the Marketing for Hippies Facebook group we've got there. It's one of the many things it's in fact set up to help people with. And it turns out, of course, yeah, lots of people have all sorts of super interesting ideas about what hubs might be that one person might not necessarily think about. And every time it comes up in the study hall calls, when you brainstorm on your Friday one-to-one coaching membership calls,
Yeah.
like fascinating, just the breadth of answers that people come up with that I would just have never have conceived of on my own. Very cool stuff.